night after night.
We don't know why we're being targeted, and that uncertainty is really pushing the fear into overdrive.
A Calgary homeowner wants the torment to stop after he says suspects have targeted his home multiple times. A plaque honoring the Calgary victims of a mass killing is stolen.
It's just like a kick in the gut to see that it was gone.
Parents of the Brentwood Five hope thieves have a change of heart as police investigate. And the unique Alberta business.
There's all of this lore that's been built in, for centuries.
Serving wizards around the world, one wand at a time.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Camilla Di Giuseppe.
Good evening. A Calgary man and his wife had their home attacked not once, but 4 times in over a week. They've lived in the community of Renfrew for 20 years and are at a loss as to why they are being targeted. They filed police reports, but at this time, investigators have no suspects. Kevin Fleming reports.
This video was captured on Wednesday evening when someone walked up to Chris Boucher's home and threw a softball-sized rock through the front window. This is the 4th time his home has been vandalized. The first time it was spray painted on 2 sides.
We're really scared right now. We don't know why we're being targeted. The spray painting had some explicits on it and another word we couldn't read. It might have been a foreign language. We don't know why this is happening. I lived here for over 20 years. I'm a public servant. My wife blows glass for a living. I don't have enemies. I have lots of friends.
The attacks became more violent and turned from spray paint to throwing rocks through the windows, narrowly missing the people inside.
Whenever I think about what could have happened, I think the worst, and it scares me. I'm scared to my core right now, just thinking of what could have happened to me then.
A few family friends volunteered to watch the house and spotted 2 suspicious people walking towards the home late Saturday night.
He saw 2 men in my front yard right over there, armed with a 4-foot-long 2x4, a large rock, and an 8 to 10-inch knife. My friends then decided to use their vehicle to stop the men from coming into the house.
An altercation ensued and the 2 took off after they smashed the vehicle Boucher's friends were driving.
I've installed 3 cameras, 2 internal facing north and west, and then 1 in the backyard facing west and south, covering that area. I've installed spotlights in the back. My lights are always on. I've installed numerous door stopping mechanisms to prevent any sort of armed assault on my doors again.
All was quiet for 3 days until video captured the rock throwing. Boucher gave the video to the police to try to identify the attackers.
I have a large social network and many of them are volunteering to watch my home because they're fearful based on the pattern something's going to happen again. So I will be having some friends doing a bit of vigilante surveillance for us over the next upcoming week or so.
While Calgary police confirmed they are reviewing the security footage, they are offering no other information about their investigation into the ongoing attacks on this home in Renfrew Crescent Heights. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
The Bouchers say they have a lot of support from friends and neighbors, many of whom are telling them to move. But the couple says they've formed strong bonds in the neighborhood and don't want to go. A bronze memorial plaque honoring the lives of 5 young Calgarians stabbed in the city's worst mass killing has been stolen. It was the father of one of the Brentwood 5 victims that realized it was gone while visiting South Glenmore Park yesterday, which also happened to be his daughter Katie's birthday. She would have turned 35. The Kintera Legacy Garden in South Glenmore Park is a lasting tribute to Katie, Lawrence Hong, Joshua Hunter, Zachariah Rathwell, and Jordan Segura. They were stabbed to death at a house party in Brentwood in 2014. Matthew DeGrood was found not criminally responsible due to an undiagnosed schizophrenia. The plaque was reported stolen Thursday, and police hope CCTV and security footage from area businesses will pinpoint when it was stolen. Bronze thefts have spiked in Calgary due to its rising value, but police say criminals will have a tough time offloading these expensive yet sentimental items because recyclers will not accept them. Both Paris and police hope whomever stole the plaque will do the right thing.
I came here to relax and actually talk to her in my head. So it's just like a kick in the gut. Maybe they don't know what it is, don't understand. If you realize what it is, just bring it back and put it by the rock, and we'll reattach it.
I'm hopeful that whoever took the plaque will realize that the right decision is to turn it in, whether they want to turn it in at a police station or leave it somewhere that we can find it. We'd be happy with any outcome that sees it come back.
Greg Paris says he is thankful Calgary police have made a point to talk publicly about the case. Investigators are asking anyone who has information about the plaque or who may have it to contact them or Crime Stoppers. Extortion threats have many Calgarians on edge and thinking twice before answering the phone. Police say the crime is growing, with dozens of cases now under investigation, including several involving gunfire. Last night, victims, community leaders, and law enforcement came together in the Northeast, searching for answers and action. Here's Mark Villani.
It's a phone call that gave this Calgary man nightmares. An international number reached him over WhatsApp, demanding thousands of dollars. CTV News is protecting his identity after threats were made against his child.
They mentioned my younger son, that they have seen him twice. He's a grade 2 kid. It was a little shocking to me, to be honest.
Shocking, but not uncommon. Calgary police are investigating 21 extortion cases, 11 involving shootings. A CPS town hall meeting Thursday night saw more victims of these threats walk through the doors of the Dashmesh Culture Centre. They hope to build trust, since many in the South Asian community say they've had bad experiences with police abroad.
Some people are even paying the money that they're not reporting. So we just want the community to come together and let's fight this.
This thing shows that there's a fear among community that is underlying.
But police are urging anyone targeted to report these crimes.
This is public safety priority number 1 for the Calgary Police Service, and it's our job to reassure the community that we are taking each and every complaint that we get seriously.
Complaints often originate from callers claiming to represent the terrorist labeled Lawrence Bishnoi gang from India. Police say it's gotten so bad in BC's Lower Mainland that some people are even applying for gun licenses and enrolling in gun training to defend themselves.
The number one thing you come to this country is safety and security, and I strongly feel it's not existing now.
Some cases may also stem from disputes over immigration or work permits, where former employees are allegedly targeting employers for money.
We will take efforts to investigate those individuals, follow our processes to report and to remove them.
Meanwhile, provincial officials say a new task force will target cybercrime, sharing information to trace threats and lay charges.
The types of AI and deepfake videos that are surfacing online, the methods that these scammers and extortionists are employing are becoming more sophisticated.
And victims say real peace won't come until those responsible are held accountable.
Positivity will only come from the action.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
There has been no arrest so far in Calgary, but police hope that will change by strategizing with other law enforcement agencies at a special meeting in Surrey, BC next week. An investigation is underway into a garage fire in the city's northwest. The homeowner called 911 when they noticed the detached structure was ablaze. It ignited just before 5 o'clock this afternoon. Crews arrived quickly and knocked down the flames, but not before spreading to some trees. There were no injuries, but the contents of the garage are a write-off. The city is warning residents, especially in Bowness, it will be a busy summer of construction as crews replace a major water main. The city will use open-cut construction to replace part of the Bearspaw South feeder main. That means a trench will be dug, affecting traffic in the area. Building Stage B of the line between 73rd Street and 87th Street Northwest will start in May and be completed in October. The city says this will lead to significant impacts for residents, including traffic noise, parking, and access to local areas. The replacement of the entire line is scheduled to be done by the end of the year. Gina is in with our first look at the weather. With the Chinooks, we always talk about the wind, but today you really have to hand it to them.
Yeah, especially it was a bit of a late afternoon gust that really jumped our temperatures up. We initially had a forecast high of 12 degrees, and then during that 5 o'clock hour, some strong westerlies moved in. We bumped up 3 more degrees to a high of 15. So tonight we're aiming to cool down to a low of 3 degrees, though again, those westerly winds might keep us even warmer than that. And then by tomorrow afternoon, afternoon after a nice sunny start to Saturday. We'll see more clouds move in over the city, but it'll still be a warm high of 13 degrees and then a gradual cooling trend, Camilla, but still above seasonal. We'll have all those details coming up in your 5-day forecast.
Gina, thank you so much. The Milano Cortina Winter Olympics have officially kicked off, and here in Calgary, the Olympic cauldron is now burning, part of our connection to the Games. The cauldron was lit at Canada Olympic Park, which was the site of a number of events during the 1988 Games. Canada has sent 207 athletes to the Games. 36 of them hail from southern Alberta. And the Maple Leaf is waving at a Calgary pub, ready to help cheer Team Canada to victory at the Milano Cortina Winter Olympics. Tops Pizza South is decked out with Canadian flags, golden twinkle lights, giant gold balloons, and lots of red and white decor. One employee says the aim is to make this a fun, festive spot for Calgarians to cheer on our athletes and celebrate their Olympic success.
We just lots of hockey sticks because, you know, Calgary loves hockey, Canada loves hockey. It's what it's about. Come and cheer on Canada.
The Maple Leaf Lounge is open for the duration of the Olympics, which end February 22nd. Well, more than a dozen UCP members have been listed as supporters of a petition on separation, but whether they signed it or not remains unclear, as does the impact those political views could have on Alberta investors.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
The Canadian Bar Association says a demand made by Alberta's premier to do with the appointment of judges would compromise judicial independence. In a letter to the Prime Minister, Danielle Smith demanded more input on the selection of federal judges. She wrote, the provincial government could hold back money for those appointed by Ottawa if her government didn't agree. The Canadian Bar Association says the proposal would compromise the appointment process. It adds that Smith's suggestion that courts don't reflect the values and expectations of Albertans underscores the political nature of her proposal. Federal Justice Minister Sean Fraser says he plans to maintain the current selection process. And while Alberta's premier had said she supports remaining in Canada, more than a dozen members of her caucus have been listed as supporters of a petition on separation. When asked if they do support Alberta independence, most of these MLAs didn't respond. Instead, we got a blanket response from the UCP caucus. As Alicia Fieldberg reports, a lack of clarity is concerning for a lot of people on both sides of the issue.
Last week, Albertans gathered in Calgary to sign a pro-separatist petition calling for a referendum. Now, the Republican Party of Alberta's website lists 19 UCP MLAs supporting that petition.
I know, vaguely that any number of MLAs have signed the petition.
Republican Party of Alberta says some MLAs indicated they do not support separation and were already removed from that list, adding, if UCP MLAs wish to turn their backs on the voters who elected them and who support independence, they can do so publicly. Albertans deserve to know who they will be campaigning with and against. One MLA on the current list says he doesn't support it.
I haven't signed the petition. What I would say is I think Canada can work. I think we have a tremendous opportunity to do some incredible things here in Alberta, but not without making sure that we are fighting for Alberta's best interests.
CTV contacted the other 18 MLAs but did not receive a response. Instead, the UCP caucus provided a statement saying citizen-initiated referendum petitions should be a grassroots process left to private citizens to sign, not elected officials. Alberta's premier often says she supports a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada, but says many Albertans are upset about Justin Trudeau-era politics.
A million or more Albertans, based on the polling I've seen, who've lost hope in Canada. So my view is that my job and the Prime Minister's job is to give people hope back.
The group behind the petition thinks MLAs should be able to declare their support.
From my perspective, MLAs are being muzzled and they can't campaign, in favor of Alberta independence. Well, Danielle Smith runs around the country playing Federalist.
Some Albertans say the uncertainty about who supports separation could be damaging for the whole province. Calgary Chamber of Commerce says it could influence investment in Alberta.
Anything that introduces an element of uncertainty from an investment standpoint is not net positive for the province, and it's not good for the country either.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
China's top court has overturned the death sentence for a BC man in a drug smuggling case. Robert Schellingberg was detained on drug charges in 2014. He was initially given 15 years in prison, but China retried him, saying his sentence was too lenient and sentenced him to death. That was a month after Canadian authorities detained Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou on a warrant from the U.S. Today's ruling comes after Prime Minister Mark Carney visited China last month to boost trade ties. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada is recommending pilots give some extra thought before performing risky maneuvers. It comes following a fatal crash near Red Deer last July. The TSB released its report after investigating the 2025 crash. A passenger was killed and the pilot was seriously injured. The report notes the descent of the helicopter was consistent with an auto rotation. That's an exercise that allows a helicopter to descend in a controlled manner after losing engine power. The TSB says no issues were found with the helicopter's engine. It says practicing auto rotations introduces extra risk into the flight and that pilots should carefully consider performing the exercise with passengers on board. Well, Gina's up next with her Skywatch forecast as we head into this weekend. Will the warm stretch continue? Those details next.
Well, that Chinook was certainly the big weather story today, and it was very pronounced throughout much of Alberta, even extending into parts of the States here. You can see it very well on the radar satellite here, and I did a little bit of measuring, and we can see that arch extend all the way up close to the Yellowhead Highway there, close to Hinton, and extending down into the Brownlee area of Montana. So when all said and done, there was a moment when this arch was spanning about 800 kilometers north to south. So a very continuous stretch of Chinook conditions today, benefiting us in southern Alberta, getting us to a gorgeous high of 15 degrees. Tomorrow's looking pretty good too. We're still going to see Chinook-like conditions, though we'll dial it down with the wind. We might get some random gusts, but for the most part, winds in the southwest, west direction around 15 kilometers an hour, but still a nice high of 13 degrees, 14 for the Lethbridge area. So starting to gradually trend in a cooler direction, but we have that nicely established ridge of high pressure here that still holds pretty steady for Saturday, but then we start to see it break down and push more south, that jet stream, by the time we get into late Sunday and into Monday. And then it can be quite difficult to forecast exactly what could happen. As it stands right now, we'll still benefit from some mild temperatures and not a lot of precipitation, but it really doesn't take much movement in these models, a little bit more of that cooler air from the north moving southwards for the situation to change, and maybe cooler air moves into the area, maybe some precipitation as well. But as it stands right now, pretty consistent when it comes to conditions, on and off cloud, peaks of sunshine, winds not too bad, pretty normal for where they're supposed to be when it comes to speeds at this time of year. And those temperatures, again, going downwards, but still trending above seasonal. So we'll see highs in the positive single digits from Sunday through to Wednesday as it stands right now. But temperatures, those lows will get back below freezing overnight. And there is the potential for maybe some precipitation, though shaping up to be trace amounts of some flurries Sunday evening carrying over into Monday morning for the Calgary area. Could be a bit more precipitation in the Lethbridge region.
All right, Gina, thank you. The Snow Days Festival is underway in Banff and Lake Louise, but the lack of winter weather is wrecking at least one event. The ice sculptures, part of Ice Magic, were supposed to be on display until Sunday, but they've been melting amid the warm-up, so organizers have removed them earlier than planned. Ticket holders are being contacted directly about the cancellation, but Banff Lake Louise Tourism says the Art of Ice competition is still going ahead, with 12 ice sculptors working live on their creations on Bear Street this weekend. A touch of magic for would-be wizards everywhere is next. We'll meet the man behind the wand, thousands of them actually. That's next. hockey players are attempting to break a record for the world's longest hockey game just east of Edmonton. They have already been on the ice for more than a full 24 hours. The goal is to raise $1 million for cancer research.
I've had multiple family members that have played in this game and multiple family members that have been diagnosed with cancer in the past. So I'm playing for them. It's a big deal for our family to come out here and support the people that are also playing and that have been through cancer.
So far, the players are not even a tenth of their way to their goal, the equivalent of 11 straight days of hockey. Ever wonder where magic wands come from? It might surprise you to know some of the most unique custom-crafted spellcasters come from right here in southern Alberta. Kevin Green takes us inside the workshop of fantasy by numbers.
Inside this small Okotoks workshop, magic is made. Well, magic wands anyway, each one custom carved for an aspiring wizard.
Different woods, they all have different lores. You know, ash trees are always very revered and things like that, and cedar is very protective. And so there's all of this lore that's been built in.
The company's website also features a personality quiz to match magician to wand.
And then at the end, it will pick out one of our wand combinations to match your style, match your personality.
Despite being carved on a computerized milling machine, no two wands are alike. Brendan Rose built and programmed his own unit, allowing hundreds of millions of combinations.
I had to figure out how to, rather than just jumping to a lathe and making symmetrical, quick and easy symmetrical designs, it was how do I make this carve all of those same asymmetrical, detailed designs.
Jared Codd hand sands, stains, and polishes every one of them before they leave the shop.
Well, I'm the maker, so I make one and that becomes my favorite, and then I make another one and then that's my new favorite. So I've gone through a few.
The company's work also caught the attention of American movie chain Cinemark, which commissioned them to produce 10,000 wands for the theatrical release of Wicked.
I had to average, with 4 automated lathes, I had to average close to 250 to 300 wands a day in order to hit the target.
It took weeks of 18-hour days.
You would maybe end up with about 60 seconds where you could sit down or take a drink or swap off with somebody quick to go use the washroom.
With that behind them, the pair now hope to make their wands even more magical.
Swish of the wand, open your garage door, turn your lights on and off, turn your TV on and off, change your channel, whatever, and it's all up to you.
Further blurring the line between fantasy and reality for would-be wizards worldwide. Kevin Green, CTV News, Okotoks.
And Fantasy by Numbers is also the driving force behind the Enchanted Okotoks Festival held in September. For more information about them, head to our website. All right, that's it for us here at CTV News at 11:30. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great weekend. We will see you soon.